Hello the internet, it's your boy SmithLockwood! And if you're anything like me, thinking about what you're going to do with your future leaves you quivering in the corner, desperate to ignore the feeling of drowning in your own despair. But fear not, because I have a solution of sorts and I want to share it with you all, so come out of the corner just for a few minutes and we'll talk about it. We've got GCSEs finishing, A-levels wrapping up, university students about to face that impending and daunting darkness known as adulthood and real responsibilities. And even if none of that applies to you, the summer is a time when we all feel motivated and want to better our lives. So we're all kind of heading towards something new, or at least the possibility of changing things. And just because it's summer doesn't mean it's all sunshine out there. The fierce truth of it all is that life isn't always a walk in the meadows amidst the flowers and the bumblebees. Sometimes it's a struggle through storm clouds or a game of hopscotch in a hurricane. And no matter your age or avenue of interest or pursuit, we all get scared and anxious when faced with that one big ass question that gets juggled around like a flaming chainsaw at a circus sideshow. What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do? What even is life? What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your life? Sorry, where was I? As someone who's probably been asked that question more often than most people, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There is no point in your life when that question becomes any less impossible to answer or any less terrifying to think about. And the reason for that is simple, really. Our lives and all of the possibilities that are available to us are far too open-ended and vast to ever encapsulate into a tidy little nugget of know-how. And, after all, as part of our very core as humans, we are very changeable. Even biologically speaking, we don't settle for the same skin for the entirety of our lives. Once every 48 days, we shed our skin and are refreshed with a shiny new coat. So how can we be expected to settle on one final decisive decision about our life or career path for the entirety of our time on this beautiful little planet? We change our clothes, our hair, our hobbies, our interests, our partners, and yet people are still adamant that we make one final, unchangeable decision in answer to the question, what are you going to do with your life? No! A lot of people I speak to get very stressed when thinking about their future, and this phobia of the future, or of passing time, chronophobia, then starts to leak into their present day lives and makes them very apprehensive about the decisions that they need to make. All around us on social media, we see these success stories and the wealthy men and women of the world sipping on champagne on their yachts or yoga mats. And that pressure gets to us. We feel like we need to match that. And then that pressure builds and bubbles until we have no choice but to burst, buy a burger, and binge on Orange is the New Black until that feeling subsides a little bit. But, as I said in one of my earlier videos, this expectation that's plastered all over social media isn't a realistic representation of life, and therefore we needn't let this chronophobia take over our day-to-day lives. Because, let's face it, as long as we're making enough money to feed and keep ourselves, this life plan doesn't need to be some invisible, invincible force that rules and dictates our everyday lives. People seem to panic when they see other people who appear to have their lives in order because they've already achieved their dream job. But I've spoken to a lot of these people, and after a few months of having the house and being able to support the family, they end up looking at themselves and the sentiment is the same. They question, now what am I going to do with my life? The cycle repeats, because once we've shimmied our way into one room, it's human nature to want to check out what's going on in another room, or upstairs, or in the garden, or in a completely different house altogether, because we have an insatiable desire as humans for more knowledge, or more excitement, or something new altogether. And this desire does not go away when we achieve our current goals. Instead, the goalposts move, or the target changes altogether, and then the same question comes knocking at our door. Now what? Feeling lost? Feeling afraid or uncertain about your future, and feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of your decision making is inevitable. Just like death, taxes, and me wearing a ghastly t-shirt to film my YouTube videos, not knowing where your next turn is going to take you is unavoidable. Even if you do want to hide under your duvet watching Netflix for the rest of your life, there will come a day when the internet will go down and you will be forced to face the music anyway. And although the inevitability of facing your future is inescapable, you don't need to be unhappy, unfulfilled, or unsatisfied. And here's how you can avoid that. Whether you're about to finish school, college, university, your job, a phase in your life, or the final season of Pretty Little Liars, these are all emotionally draining moments in your life, and you're bound to feel displaced or confused or terrified by that. But one thing I can guarantee that each and every one of you has within yourself is a creativity and passion that means the world to you. And I can also guarantee that at some point in your life, somebody has told you how stupid that thing is and that it will get you nowhere. First of all, I want you to ignore those asshat morons. And second of all, I want you to think about what your passion or creativity is for a moment. It doesn't matter what that passion or creativity is. It could be a love of music, dance, photography, or art. Maybe you love writing, or helping others, or going for long walks around the countryside. Perhaps you're into driving, or diving, or delving into spiritualism and meditation. It could be a million different things, but what it is exactly isn't necessarily important. What is important is that you hold on to that love of yours, no matter where your life takes you, and no matter what anybody else thinks about your passion. Because all people are born passionate. Just look at any child anywhere in the world and look at how enthusiastically they play and how sincerely they believe and how completely they imagine and enjoy. And then look at the older people in your life. Some of them, hopefully a lot of them, will still have that sparkle in their eye, but then there will be those who are sad because at some point in their life they let that passion, that love, that fire burn out because life got in the way or because their passion wasn't helping them to pay the bills. And it can be the hardest thing in the world as you grow up, as you gain responsibilities, to hold on to that passion and that love and to find time for it. But I say what's really important is that you don't find time, you make time. I've got friends who are only just turning 20 who, by societal standards, have got it all figured out. They've got the money, the house, the car, but they've also got this hole. And they don't seem to be able to fill it with those things because deep down, at a primitive, instinctive level, you just can't replace happiness and following your dreams with physical things. And the moral to this story? Well, you should make time to maintain your passion and your love, because I can promise you that no matter how awful your week may have been, or no matter how horrific the thought of the future might be, if you have made time to engage with the thing that you love, or your passion, or your creativity, that it will enliven you and re-energize you, and that will then begin to spread into everything else that you do. And once you've got that energy and that passion pumping through your veins and through your whole body, you can focus that energy and you can hone it and you can zone it in on the areas of your life that you're afraid of, or that you're not sure about, or that you're not enjoying as much. And with that, you can help cultivate your own success and happiness. The Greeks were some of the finest life philosophers in our entire history, and they had a word for this feeling and this spiritual serenity: Meraki. The word stemmed from the Turkish word mirak, which means a labour of love or to do something passionately, and the Greeks took that word and evolved it. For them, Meraki meant to do something passionately and with love in your heart, and to put a little bit of yourself into everything that you do and create. They believe that no matter how vast or difficult a challenge or task was, if you tackled it with eagerness, enthusiasm and love, you'd be able to overcome it eventually. And for me, there is no greater or more challenging task than being happy for the entirety of your life. Yes, life is a long, testing, tough little cookie, and it will put even the most confident and successful of us through a battle every once in a while. But if we can take that thing that we love and keep hold of it, and then apply that love and zest to make our life a little bit more happy, a little bit more passionate and soulful, then we'll find that no matter how terrifying and frightening the prospect of the future may seem, we'll still come out the other side with a smile on our face. So keep hold of the thing that you're passionate about. Forget the naysayers, forget the haters. What is important is that you are true to yourself and that you never let go of your passion, your creativity, and your enjoyment. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you to all of my new subscribers who have turned what was an awful week into a fantastic one. I was hoping to be around the 200 subscriber mark this week, but as it stands I am now charging into the 300s thanks to all of you new beautiful people, so thank you to anyone who has subscribed. I can't even begin to tell you how thankful and grateful I am to have you all on this adventure with me. Whether you're new here or not, I would love to hear what you're passionate about or where your creativity lies, so start a conversation with me, leave me a comment below this video telling me where you find your Meraki, and if you liked this video, be a gem and smash that like button for me. I've got plenty of other creative nonsense floating around my channel, so if you haven't already, tickle that circle's tummy and that will subscribe you to the SmithLockwood channel. And if you're really enjoying my content, why not share me with a loved one or a friend? The more the merrier. I'll see you next week in my new video, and until then, make sure you're living your life with passion. I love you guys.